Hello and welcome to My Newt News. I'm not a Newt. My name is not Newt, but you know what? You can call me Newt. And I suppose you're wondering why I've asked you here today. Well, instead of My Newt News, it's My Newt Reviews. They are equally small, however, I'm hoping that you will find some good in this and some enjoyment or information. If you do, I would appreciate it if you'd throw me a like and a subscribe. And if you have any input, I would be glad to hear it. Throw me a comment. Now, today I am reviewing something called Mystery Incorporated. And it is a bit of a mystery to me because basically it is a live action Scooby Doo, but it's not made by a major corporation. It is made by the people here on the top. It's the people on the right playing Fred and Daphne. They wrote it. They helped fundraise money for it to crowdfund the money for the first episode. There's one episode that is up on YouTube, and as you can see, there's other content besides the actual episode itself. And I did watch the episode, and I will be talking about the episode. I will initially give you a little bit of a spoiler-free overview, maybe go over some of the other content here, and then I will go into a spoiler section, and then I will give the overall rating. When I transition from spoiler-free to spoiler, I will warn you, and I will also put the timestamp up so that you can skip to the rating, get an idea of what I think. And yes, this rating will include a how woke is it or is it woke rating, because a lot of people are wanting that nowadays. I'm here to give you what you want, or give you what I want to give you, or, you know, something along those lines. Pick one, pick three, it doesn't matter. So, first of all, as I said, this is crowdfunded. Indiegogo, and actually, they say they paid for the first episode, but they raised just over 30 grand. Honestly, looking at the production values of it, I would be very surprised if they were able to film this for 30 grand, especially in California. I believe maybe that they got that amount and then they were able to get other investors, other investments to pay for it. As you can see, there is an Indiegogo currently going on, looking for money to film episode 2, or potentially if there's somebody out there, you know, with $1 million laying around, you donate $1 million. First of all, I'm thinking that if you want them to put you in an episode, whatever, I'm sure they would do it. So $1 million, dude, you can have an entire season. Now, what they consider an entire season, is that 6 episodes? Is that 8? Is that 12? Yeah, I don't know. Actually, if you look on IMDb, oh, they're planning on 12 episodes. A lot of people are complaining about a lot of the content coming out of Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, Burbank, wherever. A lot of the response to that is, if you don't like it, go make your own. And Daily Wire has started doing this. These people, now I'm not saying the reason that they're making this is because they have an objection to the current Hollywood content. Kind of get the impression that this young man here and this young lady, they wrote it. It kind of sounds like he was the driving force to initiate it. You know, how they know each other, I don't know. I don't know everything. I know this is going to come as a shock to everybody, but it's true. But I think it's great. You know, if you've got an idea and the drive and the initiative, make it, do it. If you don't like the content that's being created and provided, make your own. If you have an idea, do something, because otherwise we're just going to get the same old. And I know a lot of you, like myself, you know, you'll watch some of the new content coming out, you know, CW or the networks or some of the movies, Disney movies, and just so much of it is just the same old stuff. And it just feels like that it was put together by a committee. You know, they're sitting around a table. It's like, all right, well, have we got this point? We've got to have this talking point in there. Yes, we've got to have this talking point in there. Do we have any room for content? Do we have any plot for this thing? Don't worry about it. They're consumers. They don't care. And so we end up, you know, with this cookie cutter every show seems the same kind of shows to watch and movies to watch. So I very much am glad to see somebody doing something different. Now, is it groundbreaking? No, it's not even close. But I very much applaud them for doing it because, like Peter Jackson, director, producer, head honcho guru on the Lord of the Rings movies. The way he started out, I'm sure most people don't know, the way he started out was making a movie called Bad Taste. He was one of the stars, he was cinematographer, he was director, he baked the prosthetics for the alien makeup in his mother's oven. He did it all, and his friends and he filmed it over I believe it was a year's time on the weekends because they had jobs. And I remember an interview with one of the guys that was in it. He complained that the worst part of it was having to have the exact same hairstyle for a year, which I thought was pretty darn funny. But yet he did that. He put his creativity out there. He risked it. He inconvenienced his friends. He poured God only knows how much money. I'm sure that by Hollywood standards it was nothing, but you know, if you're working a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5 or whatever, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and you're pouring all your income into making a movie, that's pretty risky. But look what it did. He's got a catalog of a lot of really good movies, at least one clinker. But this was done by the what was his name? Dade Elza. I apologize, Dade. Dade Elza and Jessica Chancellor. He's an actor. I think that she is a quote-unquote TikTok influencer. I believe I saw that somewhere. But the thing is, you know, is he making work for himself? Yeah. But then again, if you're going to make a budget movie, that's an asset. That if you've been an actor before, then you know a little bit about acting. You know, you've been on sets. You've seen how they're run. You know a little bit of the concept. It's like if I went into a grocery store to run a grocery store, I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm not stupid. I have the general concept of you buy stuff and then you sell it for more than you paid for it, and you hire people to run the registers, count the money, stock the shelves and all that, but that's all theoretical. That's not dealing with the day in, the day out issues. So if someone has been an actor or an actress and they know a little bit about it, I'm sure that helps. As for the look of it, I mean, it looks pretty darn good, especially for a crowd-funded, low budget. Now, is it a lot of close-ups, a lot of inside, indoor buildings? There's at least one or two actors of questionable capabilities, but overall, I mean, it looks, at least quality-wise, it looks at least as good as a CW episode. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, that's a pretty low bar, but is it? That is a professional network, and I don't know what the average CW episode costs. I'm thinking pretty close to $1 million, and maybe it's not that much, but you get my point, that it is a substantial sum. This was made for maybe a tenth of that, maybe like I say, I don't know, maybe they only cost $500,000. Even if it only cost $500,000, this was made for what? A fifth, a tenth of that, 8%, whatever. I think it is a very, very, very solid looking for that kind of budget. Now, is it perfect? No. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say, first of all, just a general thing, the actors, the main 4 actors are decent. They're not Laurence Olivier, but they're pretty good. And like I say, it had good look. It's got pretty decent effects makeup. And in general, like I say, it looks really good. Now, I'm going to go into spoiler stuff. So, right about this point, I will be showing, I don't want to do too much spoilers for you guys to go watch. But I'm going to be going through some more of this. But right now, there should be the timestamp for the rating and then you can skip from here to there, not get any spoilers. Go watch the episode, see what you think. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm way off base, and maybe come back and watch this review again, watch the spoiler part, and tell me what I missed or what I got right. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boop! Spoiler time. First of all, the cast. I have to say that I have mixed feelings on the cast. I'm not saying that they don't do a good job. Shaggy, he does okay. The girl that plays Velma, the acting part, she does okay, but the look, I think that she should have been a little more freckled, pert-nosed, and honestly a little chubbier. Now, maybe they have difficulty finding chubby actresses in Hollywood these days. I don't know. That's entirely possible. Velma's pretty good, except she comes across a little bit more Mean Girls than I personally prefer. The guy that plays Fred, he does a good job. I kind of wish it had been somebody a little taller and beefier. I looked in the IMDb, he's 5'10", which is not short by any means, but, you know, in the cartoons, Fred was a big honking guy. Does this detract from the show? I don't think so, not 100%. I'll be honest, my big problem, and this may be because they're showing this on basically their venue for it is YouTube, so they have to go within the YouTube guidelines. And my big thing is, and again, spoilers, that Scooby doesn't talk. And there's a little bit of drug reference, but Shaggy doesn't do drugs. And I'm sorry, but anybody that watched the cartoons, Shaggy did drugs. Scooby probably did drugs. I'm thinking that the Scooby snacks were edibles. Now, there was a perfect opportunity in the episode when there's this super cool new designer drug, and that would have been the perfect opportunity for Shaggy to, oh man, I'm going to get caught with this, and drink it, and then start hallucinating. They could then, from then on, you know, it changed his brain chemistry or whatever, you know, fill in the MacGuffin, and then that would explain why he hears the voice of Scooby when the dog looks at him. Now, in the show, he does talk to the dog as if the dog were talking to him, but it's, I don't know, it's not as convincing as it might be, and they may get better at it. I don't know, but I kind of would have liked it if they had the dog voice in his head and only he could hear it. And they had, like I said, they had the perfect opportunity with the drugs, but they didn't take it. And like I say, I think there's an excellent chance that may be a YouTube thing. Now, is it worth watching? I think so. I really do. Is it great? No. If this were on CW, I'd say it was pretty standard. But when you consider that it's an indie effort, and this is their first one, and presumably they'll get better, yeah, I definitely think it's worth a watch. And I strongly urge you, it's right there on YouTube. You don't have to pay a penny to see it. Watch it. See what you think. And that has the added benefit of every time you watch it, as long as it's monetized, they're getting that much closer to being able to fund the second episode and the rest of the season. Which, and again, I don't think it's going to be perfect. It is a little more soap opera, a little bit more, somebody said it's kind of like Riverdale meets Scooby Doo. And, you know, I can kind of see that. There's a little bit more of, like I say, Daphne's a little bit more mean girl than I really like. But part of that is the way things are now. And, you know, in the original cartoon, she was quite attractive. You know, they always show you know, in the movies, the pretty girl, and she's an outcast. No, that doesn't happen. That's bullshit. Or at least in my high school last century, the pretty girls were popular. And the good-looking guys were popular. Unless they were just totally batshit crazy, they were popular. So, there you go. Now, I think I've covered a little bit of good. I think I've covered a little bit of the bad. I don't want to go on forever on this, so I'm going to try and cinch it up here. Review time. Is it worth watching? I think it is. I really, really do. Now, is it perfect? No, we already went over that. And as we know, on this page, we have got our varying ratings. Is it awesome? Is it decent? Is it an okay time killer? Is it meh at best? Or is it, that's right, total crap? And no, I'm not saying this is. Now, here we go. What is it? It is, in my opinion, it's decent. It's not awesome by any means. And if I had seen this on the CW or on network TV, I probably would have given it an okay time killer rating. It's an indie production. Yeah, I'm going to say it's decent. I personally think it's well worth your time, and I think that they should be applauded for going for it. Now, a lot of people ask about anything that comes out now, how woke is it? Does the woke ruin it? And you know what? If you like the woke, more power to you. You're like a pig in mud right now because there's so much woke in all of this stuff. Now, how much woke is in this? I'm going to say not at all. I don't know that there's even some. Some people, some of the hardcore, old-time Strom Thurmond kind of people go, well, don't you realize there's a mixed race relationship in there? Yeah, and it's 2022. Big deal. Nobody cares. They're not hammering on it. They're not making it. It's just the way it is. And is it realistic? Yeah. Is it realistic that the most popular girl would be dating the football hero? Yeah. Yep, 100%. 100%. Oh, sorry if that was spoilers. But they're not hammering politics. They're not beating you over the head with it. So, yeah, I would say not at all. And again, I think this is definitely well worth a watch. I'm going to link to the episode. I'm going to link to their channel, and I'm also going to link to the Indiegogo. So, if you like what I did here today, throw me some love, like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like what I did here today, well, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll like the next one better. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.